Look in the mirror, don't know what to say, but I'm happy the man I is.
Goddamn, we back at it, and today we're closing out the week of closing out the rest of the year, the last few days of the year. So today we're gonna be going through some of my favorite songs, some of my favorite albums, honorable mentions, etc., etc., etc. But today's video is gonna be going over my top 100 songs. It's gonna be about 100 more or less. I haven't counted them all. It's a long list, so this video might be kind of rather long. Hopefully I can keep it short. Hopefully I can keep things moving and not try to stay on one song in particular. Like I said, it's about 100 songs more or less. There's gonna be a lot of songs, so I'm gonna try to, like I said, do my best to get through them. It's just, I'm just scrolling through so much. There's so much music going on in 2021. So this is like going through this week and going through some of my favorite songs, favorite albums, etc., etc. It's just paying homage to all the great music we got this year, great music we got last year, done this last year, and done a little bit in 2019. So I'm just continuing on that movement of saying what my favorite songs, favorite albums, etc., etc., etc. So without further ado, it's gonna be a long ass list. It's gonna be a long ass video. My top 100 songs of 2021. Like I said, it's gonna be a long list. Yeah, why not put it on a screen record? Why not? It's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a little bit time. Let me slide over just a little bit, and yeah, as you can see, this is a long list. All the songs are going to be listed down below, but I guess we just hop on into it. Judas and the Black Messiah, released earlier this year. It was a soundtrack. Thoroughly enjoyed that project. Some of my favorite songs, Somethin Ain't Right, which had Masego, JID, and someone else I can't remember. Letter to You, which is BJ Chicago the Kid. We also had a few good songs. And then Teach Me. I was just solid soundtrack that was collaborated for that movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed those songs. Denzel Curry Unlocked 1.5, I believe it was 1.5, released earlier this year. It was the reflipped version of the album, the mixtape project that came out in 2020. So he made like remix versions of that with different beats, had other rappers come on and rap on us. So I thoroughly enjoyed many songs on that. I just put the whole thing just because for most of those songs I like the remix. Some of the remix versions are better than the original songs in my opinion. Caleborate, Contact featured Kota Friend. Caleborate was a new artist I got into this year, and it was a nice little laid back track, and Kota Friend was perfect feature for that song. Juice WRLD also released the album about a month ago. It was alright to me. It was just one of those things where Prometheus albums are now, if it's like the second Prometheus album, just like how Pop Smoke was, it just went downhill. But this song was released early in 2021. Life is a Mess featuring Clever and Post Malone. Thoroughly enjoyed that track. Moving along, we got Giveon, Heartbreak Anniversary. There's a mixtape that came out earlier this year. Thoroughly enjoyed that project. For my favorite song for that, Heartbreak Anniversary. Heartbreak Anniversary. Saba released Ziplock. Thoroughly enjoyed that track. I can't wait for Saba to release a project this year. She released a few singles. Of course, a lot of variety of feature verses, but I can't wait for his next project with Ziplock. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Kota the Friend have a lot of singles. He released what's that song? Not the song, the album. To Kill Sunrise with Static Selector. That was a great, solid project. Some of my favorite songs from that was The Cold, The Love, Day Glow. That was from the album. And then These and Grateful were two singles that I thoroughly enjoyed with him. Just the Bieber, Peaches, Daniel Caesar, and Giveon. Loved that song initially, but I got tired of it because it was on everybody's Instagram story, all over the radio. It got boring because of that, but I still thoroughly enjoyed that track. RodWave, he had Over My Dead Body from his album that he released earlier this year. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Sylvan, LaCue, I can't wait for you to release the album. He released a lot of like EPs here and there, like one version, then like a different version of that the second time. So some of my favorite tracks from him were Peter Pan, PS2. E40 released a track with Jordan Lucas, T.I. I Stand On That. Thoroughly enjoyed that track between them three. Kind of a Machine released the Machiina earlier this year. Thoroughly enjoyed that project. And him, Scatterbrain, which had JID and Ludacris on it. JID, he's on a massive feature run in 2021. So I thoroughly enjoyed that track from all three of them. Young Thug and Gunna released, forgot the album name earlier this year, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. But I more so enjoyed Young Thug's solo project, Punk, that was released a couple months ago. So some of my favorite tracks from those two albums were Solid with Drake, Moon Man with which had Kid Cudi, Stress, which had J. Cole and T. Shine, Living Up with A$AP Rocky, Post Malone, Bubble with Drake and Travis Scott, Day Before Mac Miller, and of course Day Before Mac Miller is titled Day Before because Mac Miller, according to Young Thug, Mac Miller recorded at the day before he passed away. But yeah, a few Mac Miller features versions. I'm glad there's a few feature versions. I'd rather Prometheus, like artists are dead and their music coming out. I'd rather be feature verses on other people's songs more so than come out a whole album because it could be a disaster. But Circles from last year, Circles was a great Prometheus album for Mac Miller. Corday, he's releasing The Bird's Eye View next year, so he released a few tracks. More Life was just from the 4-pack they released earlier this year. It was Life of a Common was a single for, I believe, a soundtrack for a movie or a show or something like that. Sinister was with Lil Wayne was the most recent track from about a month ago. Thoroughly enjoyed that track. DJ Khaled from his album Sorry Not Sorry, which had James Lee, Jay-Z, and Nas. Thoroughly enjoyed that project. That song from him, from DJ Khaled getting Nas and Jay-Z, can't speak. There's so many songs. Getting them together was absolutely enjoyable. June Lucas rhyming to OJ, which had a little baby on there. Nice solid collab between them two of them. Boombat's Cartel released Boombox once again. JID had a solid feature on there with the electronic music, and JID coming on the track was absolutely insane. That was a nice collab there. Migos with Culture 3. Some of my favorite songs from that album was Stray and Avalanche, Having Her Way, which had Drake on there. Next, Nicki Minaj released her original mixtape and she put it on streaming services, but she put an additional track, Seeing Green, which had Lil Wayne and Drake on there, so just having a whole Young Money, Cash Money, Billionaires back on the youngest coming together with Lil Wayne for that track. I thoroughly enjoyed that. They was actually snapping on there. DMX Hood Blues, which has the whole Griselda crew, Benny the Butcher, West Side Gun, and Conway Machine. I'm still upset to this day I didn't react to that song. I seen the song, like, should I react to it? Nah, I ain't gonna react to it, and I regret reacting to it. That was definitely one of my favorite songs from the Exodus album. Some of the other favorite songs from that album were Take Control, which had Snoop Dogg, and Walking in the Rain, which had Nas. Once again, Nas had a solid features, not to mention his features, but also some of his albums we're gonna get to later in the video. Lil Baby, Lil Durk from their collab album, some of my favorite songs. Hats Off, which had Travis Scott. Rich Off Pain, which I believe was RodWave, was featured on there. Don Toliver released a Life of a Dawn album, some of my favorite songs from their Drugs and Melodies. Double Standards, Swinging on Westheimer, 2 AM, Out of Space, we had Baby King, so I thoroughly enjoyed that album with him. He's definitely going to be, that album, Life of a Dawn, is definitely going to be my top 25 albums of the year, but that's coming out Thursday, I believe. Isaiah Rashad also released the album The House is Burning. He also released the deluxe version about a month ago. Some of my favorite songs: Headshots, R.I.P. Young, the original, and the remix. I believe R.I.P. Young has the Erykah Badu sample, the Tariq Blues sample. Claymore, which had Smino. Score, which had SZA and Six Black. And The House is Burning title track. Her released the album this year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Some of the songs from that was Trauma, Damage, Come Through, which had Chris Brown on it. Moving on, Wale had released Florin 2 earlier this year, about in October. Some of his songs had Angels, which Chris Brown. Like it was Rick Ross. So good to see Wale come back. Vince Staples released Vince Staples' album. Some of my favorite songs from that: Law of Averages, Take Me Home, Little Fade. That was definitely one. I'm still thinking about putting it on my top 25. I'm not sure. There might be an honorable top 25. You have to wait and see. And also Little Fade, I don't think I said that. IDK released the album, thoroughly enjoyed that album with him. Some of my favorite songs was Peloton and Puerto Rico, and a few others. Obviously, when I'm going through these, there's going to be a lot of songs that I playlisted. If you want a playlist, all my playlists is down below. Check out the Patreon. Patreon has all my playlists. If you want to be a Patreon, I'm going to get all my links to all my playlists. So a lot of those songs I playlisted from a lot of these albums, but these are my favorite, so we just get along through the video. Where were we at? Boss, the jacket, which had Lil TJ, I believe, on there, and J. Cole. Thoroughly enjoy that. Can't wait for Boss to release the album. Down to Earth, Don't Play With Me, Don't Play With Me, Don't Play With Me, Ty Dolla $ign. Thoroughly enjoy that. Young Blue, Dying on the Moon, Dying on the Moon, from his album. That man got a lot of features on that album. I thoroughly enjoy that. That album had that song Dying on the Moon had John Legend as a feature, absolutely insane. Lil Nas X released the Materia album, so some of the favorite songs from that: Industry Baby, which had Jack Harlow, Dead Right Now, nice solid laid back melodic track from Lil Nas X and Dollar Sign Slime. Dollar Sign Slime. I thoroughly enjoyed that song. That's had Megan Thee Stallion on there. I wish Lil Nas, I was actually Lil Nas X truly rapping. I want more Lil Nas X rap because he's more so the melodic singing sound. Dave released We're All Alone album. That album was definitely gonna be my top 25 list. Definitely enjoyed that album. Some of my favorite songs was the title track, In the Fire, which had like Kanye-esque like musical style. That was an absolutely genius track. 22-1, look at the time, it's 22-1. Thoroughly enjoyed that song. And then Survivor's Guild to close it out. Post Malone released a couple singles this year. Motley Crue and one right now with The Weeknd. Thoroughly enjoy that. Duckworth released a project. 4K was my favorite from that. The Division and Ty Dolla $ign came together for a collab project. Some of my favorite songs was Wedicate and I Believe It, which featured once again Mac Miller. Like I said, I want more. Hopefully, get more feature verses from Mac Miller because I thoroughly enjoyed all the features that we got from him. West Side Gun released the album, and then the side B to that album was some of my favorite songs. Bash Money featured Lil Wayne, Claire's Back. Which I think, who had Claire's Back? I can't remember who Claire's Back on it. And Hell on Earth, which had, Claire's Back and Hell's on Earth 2 had the whole Cruzel's the Coup, Benny the Butcher, Counting Machine, etc., etc. Belly released the album. Some of my favorite songs from him was Money on the Table featured Benny the Butcher, Better Believe featured The Weeknd and Young Thug, Die For It featured The Weeknd and Nas, was again another Nas feature. The Weeknd also had a nice solid features this year. Moving on, Grip. This is Eminem's new signed artist. Some of my favorite song from that album was Walk Through, which featured Lil Wayne, featured Eminem himself. Thoroughly enjoyed that song. That was one of Eminem's best verses in the last few years. So I thoroughly enjoyed that track with him. Little Sims, Sometimes I Might Be an Introvert. That's one of the greatest albums of this year. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Overall, it's kind of like, I don't have like a particular favorite song. It's just the culmination of the album all coming together, made a cohesive story. So I put it as a whole album. Chris Patrick, upcoming artist from New Jersey. Shout out to Chris Patrick. Gang Activity 30. It's that gang shit. I really enjoyed that song for him. Can't wait to release this album next year. Meek Mill released the album. My favorite song was Halo featuring Brent Faiyaz. Also provided others once again, but Halo by featuring Brent Faiyaz. Brent Faiyaz had provided the great vocals. Luke released the album. Some of my favorite songs was Birdsong, which is J.I.D. and Saba. Once again, J.I.D. featured verse. Absolutely crazy. G-Eazy released Provide with Chris Brown earlier this year. And then he released These Things Happen Too. The nice sequel, a nice little comeback story for G-Eazy after the bullshit he put himself through the last few years. And my favorite track from that album was Time, which was a tribute to Mac Miller with his second verse. I thoroughly enjoyed that song. Tyler, the Creator, released Call Me to Get Lost, one of my favorite albums once again from 2021. Some of my favorite songs, What's Your Name, Girlfriend, What's Your Name? Massa and Wilshire. The Weeknd, Take My Breath, solo track, nice little, that's the only solo track I think we got from The Weeknd this year. Thoroughly enjoy that. Bodie James released a couple projects this year with The Alchemist, but my favorite songs were Diamonds Dallas and Fake Flowers. Fabio Foreign, coming off the Off the Grid feature. We're gonna talk about that later. He released Storytime. I thoroughly enjoyed that track from him. AZ released the album, one of the greatest, most underrated lyricists of all time. AZ released the album this year. Some of my favorite tracks from that was Ritual featuring Conway Machine and Lil Wayne. Maceo Cream released the album earlier this year. Some of my favorite songs, Big Persona, which had Tyler the Creator. Streets Alone, which had A$AP Rocky. What I Look Like, which had Freddie Gibbs. Thoroughly enjoyed that project from him. Ahmad Anonymous, Fire and Ice. Thoroughly enjoyed that song. Nice little melodic song. That's a nice little vibe to it. Terrence Martin released, I believe it was Drones. My favorite track was Work It Out with Corday. Corday also had a good feature one this year. I can't wait for his album, The Bird's Eye View, next year. That album is going to be so good. Rick Ross released the album about a month ago. Outlaws, which had Jasmine Sullivan and 21 Savage. Rapper Estates, which had Benny the Butcher. Benny the Butcher had a nice feature run. I can't wait to wait. I didn't really enjoy the plugs I met too earlier this year. Pirates of Castle was alright for me, but I want him another, but I will work for him. Moving on, Freddie Gibbs released Vice Lord Poetry, which goes off of Drake's Champagne Poetry from the Certified Lover Boy album. And Black Illuminates had Jada Kiss. Jada Kiss, once he did that verses, started getting a whole lot of features thrown at him, so that's one of the features. Adele 30 album, once again, it's kind of like Little Sims, Sometimes I Might Be an Introvert. It's the whole combination of the album all coming together, not particularly one song. Of course, Easy on Me was going crazy. Dende, underrated underground artist that's coming up in the R&B world. SEX. And Candy was my favorite songs for the EP Pregnancy, I believe, was released a couple of weeks ago. And now we're moving on to some of my favorites of my favorites. This is the top echelon of some of my favorite songs. Logic. Some of these songs are from there's one solo track. Some of them are from Dr. Destruction project they released earlier this year, and then from Bobby Tarantino 3. So for my favorite songs, Backstory, Back to the Basement, Butt Ass Naked. Also the Madlib collab. I can't wait for that Madlib to come out. It's probably not going to come out till like next year, till 2023, 2024. Who knows? That remains to be seen. And then we got the intro solo track. I think intro is probably gonna be the intro track to College Park, which is supposed to be coming out next year. Excited for that album. Call Me, Inside, and Untitled, all from Bobby Tarantino 330. Enjoy those songs. Moving on, Russ. Russ had a lot of features, from releasing 20 songs in 20 weeks, something like that. It then released the Chomp EP2 a couple weeks ago. Thoroughly enjoyed that project. It's definitely in my top 25. Favorite songs from Russ: Ugly, 315 Breathe, Satisfied, Losing Control Part 2, Sheep, Bucket Hat Lower, Papoose, Nothing New, which features The Game, Free, which features Big Crit, Snoop Dogg, Note to Self, which is Big Sean, Wale and Joey Badass, and to close it out, Golden. And I thoroughly enjoyed that album, Chomp EP2. That's definitely probably going to be in the top 10. Kanye West and Donda. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Of course, it's Kanye West. He's always make good music. Some of my favorite songs for that: Hurricane, which had The Weeknd and Little Baby. Off the Grid, which had Fabio Foreign, which is one of the greatest verses of the year. Fabio just absolutely snapping and sliding. Fabio said Kanye West told him to keep going, so he kept going. He kept snapping. They also had Playboy Cardi on there. Remote Control, Part 2, which had Young Thug and Kid Cudi. Moon, which had Kid Cudi once again. Don Toliver, Life of the Party, featuring Andre 3K. Shout out to Andre 3K. Hopefully, maybe we get more music from him. That remains to be seen. Next, we move on to J. Cole. J. Cole released the off-season earlier this year. So some of my favorite songs was My Life, which had 21 Savage on there. Apply Pressure, even though that at the end there he said, you gotta do it. He said do it at least like 10 times in like 30 seconds. Where am I at? Pride is the Devil, which had Little Baby on there, and then Close. Thoroughly enjoy. I can't wait to see what J. Cole does next year. I don't know. Probably not gonna release the album next year, but who knows? We'll see. Moving on, Baby King. Baby King released the Melodic Blue. He got Family Ties with Kendrick Lamar, Trail USA, Lost Souls, Brent Fires. Thank God he got Brent Fires to be the feature on Lost Souls, because the original I did not enjoy, but Brent Fires definitely made it better. Travis Scott, Escape Plan and Mafia, which is J. Cole, but those songs will be overridden because of that old Astro World disaster, so those songs feel like they never came out, because that thing literally happened like the night or the day after the song's released, so that's unfortunate, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially the surprise feature from J. Cole on Mafia. Moving on, we got Drake. Drake released Scary Hours 2 earlier this year, and then Certified Lover Boy. So some of my favorite songs: Lemon Pepper Freestyle, which had Rick Ross, which is from Scary Hours 2 EP. Champagne Poetry, Fair Trade, which had Travis Scott. No Friends in the Industry. You Only Live Twice, which had Lil Wayne and Rick Ross. I Am Y2, which had Kid Cudi, and The Remorse to close out the album. Next up, we got Brent Fires. We got Gravity featuring Tyler the Creator. That was released earlier this year. Thoroughly enjoyed that track. And then Wasting Time featuring Drake. At the time when that song was released, I believe it was released in early July. That was one of my top songs from the year, because Brent Fires and having Drake come on there, that was a nice collab. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Next up, coming to the end now. We're coming to the end. Next up, we got Silk Sonic. Of course, Silk Sonic coming out the gate, Leave the Door Open. Absolutely explosive song. Next up, we got Smoking Out the Window. Thoroughly enjoy that. Then we move on to the actual album itself, and it finally came out after many months of anticipation. Fly As Me, After Last Night, and more, because the whole album as a whole, you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out about that album. I already said it in the title of the video of itself, but you'll see. And then Nas closed it out. Like I said, Nas had a variety of features. He came out with King Disease 2, which came out the King Disease 1 of last year. Nas and Hit Boy once again came out with Magic. Thoroughly enjoyed that album from them two. So then from King Disease 2 and Magic coming together, this is the full list from my favorite songs. Life is Like a Dice Game, which is actually a single which had Corday. Once again, Corday had a lot of good features. Nobody, which had featuring Lauryn Hill. That man got Lauryn Hill to come out and retire. That's when you know Nas was snapping. This is going on to the Magic album. Speechless, 4016 build, which the production on there was crazy. Wave God, which had ASAP Rocky. ASAP Rocky was snapping on that track. DJ Premier, and I believe, I don't got it written right here, which I should have it written down. And also Dedicated, which was the outro track for that album. So I thoroughly enjoyed that album from him. Definitely slid in there at the very end of my top 25 albums of the year. Like I said, that video comes out Thursday. But that is the full list of some of my favorite songs, the top 100 songs of 2021. Like I said, this is a long video. I'm looking at it right now. It's over 20 and a half minutes long. I try my best to go through those as fast as possible. Like I said, it's a lot of songs. But I talked about the ones that I really thoroughly enjoy at the end there. Starting off with Logic and then closing out with Nas. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. And then, like I said, it's going to be a lot of more videos coming out. Tomorrow is going to be honorable mentions, projects and albums of 2021. And then Thursday is going to be my favorite album, top 25 albums of 2021. So hopefully you enjoyed this, my top 100 songs of 2021. So if you like the video, please like the video. I got more content like this always coming soon. So please subscribe. Whew, I ain't even get a glass of water. I feel like I ain't barely breathe right there. See you next video. Peace.